shadowing. Hi. So let's start. This is actually all about standing in someone else's shoes. I believe if we can understand the values under culture, we can understand people better. We can accept them for who they are, for what they stand for, where they're coming from, and then we will have more productivity, we have less violence, and we can live in peace. When I say culture, I mean the set of unwritten norms that guide people's behavior and gives them a sense of what is right and what is wrong, what is appropriate, what is not. Today, we can measure culture. We use tools developed by Professor Hert Hofstadter that allowed us to measure culture based on statistics and how people react to different situations. What else that I identified was that all communities basically have five dilemmas that the limits that they have to cope with one way or another way. These are hierarchy versus equality, individualism versus collectivism, performance orientation versus caring for others or quality of life, and uncertainty avoidance or not worrying about uncertainty, and flexibility versus disciplines. Now, the research of Hofstadter is not new, but these the dilemmas, they are still valid. They have been with us for centuries, and they continue to be valid today. Let's look at some of these dilemmas. The guy in white is the Prime Minister of Thailand. So, how come he's sitting on the floor? Because the guy behind the desk is the King of Thailand. Thailand is a very hierarchical culture. It has what we call a big power distance. In high power distance societies like Thailand, it's very important to show power distance among the different ranks in the hierarchy, even among the two most powerful people in that society. Now, this guy over here is the Prime Minister of Sweden, but he's standing in line to use the ATM like everyone else. Sweden is the low power distant culture. In a low power distant culture, there's also a hierarchy, there's also power distance, but it's much more subtle. It's not so evident. Now this is the princess of Denmark, and Denmark is also an egalitarian culture, low power distance. So how come she's getting the red carpet treatment and people are throwing petals at her feet? Because she's not in Denmark, she's visiting Thailand. This is how people in Thailand treat royalty. even if this not their own royalty, if this if it's somebody abroad coming up from abroad. Maybe this is why the Princess of Denmark enjoys visiting talent so much, because she would never get this treatment in Denmark. Now, this is very important because it is people at the bottom of the social pyramid that determines whether society is high power, distant, hierarchical or not. It's not the dictator who determines the dictatorship. It's the people at the bottom who set a dictator or do not a dictator. They are the ones who determine if a society is hierarchical or egalitarian.